Let me break it down for you. You don't just wake up in the morning, you arrive. You step into the arena before the world knows you're even awake. And in that silence, when the street's still asleep, when your phone hasn't started buzzing, when nobody's asking anything from you yet, that's when it all begins. That's when the real game is played. See, people think success starts at 9 a.m. when they walk into a building, sign in, sit down and smile like they got it all figured out. Nah, success starts at 5 a.m. when it's cold and it's dark and your bed is whispering, stay, and your dream is shouting, go. That's the moment that matters. You either rise with purpose or you roll back into comfort. You either own the morning or the day owns you, period. I used to roll out of bed, groggy, checking my phone first thing, chasing the clock. But I was always behind in spirit, behind in focus, and I realized I wasn't late for work, I was late for my life, because I had surrendered the first moment of my day to chaos. That's when I learned if you don't command your morning will command you, and it won't be kind about it. You'll feel it in your bones by noon. You'll feel like the day has already decided who you are, what you can do, and what you can't. But when you rise with intention, I mean with fire, and you take that breath, plant your feet on the ground and say, this day is mine, everything changes, not because life gets easier, but because you get sharper. You pray, you move, you write, you plan, you sweat. You speak something over your life so loud the rest of the day has no choice but to bow to it. You ever notice how some people just move different? Like they glide through the day with focus, clarity, calm. That ain't luck. That's the result of a morning won in silence. That's a man or a woman who already stood in the dark and said, I'm ready, because the morning is a test. It's life asking, do you still want it? And not yesterday, not someday, today. Every time you get up and fight for your mindset, your peace, your goals before the sun even shows its face, you are not just preparing for the day. You're building a reputation with yourself. You're proving to your reflection, I'm not waiting for opportunity. I am the opportunity. So don't wait for the world to wake you up. Wake yourself up, and do it with some fire in your chest. You deserve that. Your dream deserves that. Win that morning, or the day's gonna take it from you. People ask me all the time, how do you stay motivated? And I look at them dead in the eyes and I say, I don't. Motivation. Man, motivation is moody. It's the friend that shows up when the weather's nice, when the sun's out, when everything's going your way. It's that loud voice when the crowd's clapping, when the check clears, when the stage lights are on. But what about when it's quiet? When the rain is falling, when your back hurts, when your phone don't ring and your plan falls apart. What then? That's when discipline steps in. Discipline is different. Discipline is that quiet soldier in the dark. It don't care if you feel like it. It doesn't need applause. It shows up when nobody else does, every single time. And if you don't have that, let me tell you something. Motivation will leave you stranded. There were days I didn't want to rehearse. Didn't want to train, didn't want to write. I'd stare at the script or stare at the weights or stare at the mirror and think, not today. And then I'd hear that voice deep inside, the one you don't run from. It said, get up anyway, do it anyway. Not for the world, not for the camera, not for the approval, but for you, for the man you're building when nobody's clapping. That's the difference, maker, that's the separator. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is a furnace. It burns slow and it burns long, and it'll carry you through when inspiration walks out the door. That alarm goes off in the morning. You won't always feel like moving, but discipline says, move anyway. Your body's sore, your spirit's tired, your faith is low, but discipline says, this is where we grow. Discipline is doing it tired, doing it afraid, doing it when it's boring, when it's painful, when it's not cute or convenient. See, people love the highlight reel, but they forget. The highlight reel is stitched together with 1,000 quiet mornings, lonely nights, small choices, and silent sacrifices. You want greatness, then stop waiting to be in the mood. You want breakthrough, then stop asking if it feels right. The question ain't do I feel like it. The question is, did I promise myself I would? Because when you live by discipline, you don't chase the feeling, you chase the standard. And if your standard is excellence, then you don't clock in just when it's easy. You clock in when it's hard, when it hurts, when nobody would blame you for quitting. And you show up anyway, and one day, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, that quiet discipline will make a lot of noise, not because you shouted, but because your consistency built something that can't be ignored. So forget motivation, build discipline, show up every single day, every morning before the world gets a say. I stand in front of that mirror, not out of vanity, not to fix my tie or my hair or any of that. I stand there to face myself, because before the world throws labels on you, before someone calls you lazy or average or not enough, you better make sure you've already named yourself. You better speak over your reflection before the world tries to rewrite your story. You ever look in the mirror and really see yourself? I'm not talking about your face. I'm talking about your spirit. I'm talking about the version of you that knows, the version that's been through some things and survived, the version that's still here even though life tried to bury him. When I was younger, I used to avoid the mirror. I was afraid of what I might see, the doubt, the fear, the regret. But one day I realized that mirror ain't there to judge me. It's there to remind me of who I said I'd become. Remind me of what I'm capable of when I stop lying to myself. Because your reflection doesn't lie, and your mind, if you let it, can either build you up or break you down before you even leave the house. Some people wake up and check their phone first thing. Social media. Messages, noise, all that outside noise right away. And what they don't realize is, they're giving the world the first word on their worth. First thing in the morning, they hand their confidence over to strangers. No, not me. Before I let someone tell me who I am, I tell myself, out loud, I am focused. I am strong. I am blessed. I am built for this. Because words are seeds. You keep planting doubt, you'll grow fear. You keep planting truth, you'll grow power. That's the way it works. When you speak over yourself, you are training your mind, and your mind, that's the battlefield. It's not the office. It's not the gym. It's not the world outside. It's that little space behind your eyes where every decision gets born. You master that space. You can take on anything. But here's the thing. You gotta be intentional with what you plant there. You can't just let thoughts drift in and out like it's some bus station. You take control. You grab the wheel. You say, this is the direction I'm going today. This is the kind of man I'm going to be today. This is the level I'm operating on, no matter what comes. Some mornings you won't believe it at first. That's all right. Say it anyway. Say it until your spirit starts to catch up. Say it until the voice in your head that's been doubting you gets drowned out by a new voice. Yours. And don't just look in the mirror, look through it, see the future you, the one who didn't quit, the one who kept the promise, the one who broke the cycle, the one who rose above every excuse, every fear, every limitation. That person is real, but first you gotta speak him into existence every morning before the world says a word. There's gonna come a time, if it hasn't already, when the weight of the world presses on your shoulders before your feet even touch the ground. The bills, the expectations, the deadlines, the noise, it's real, it's heavy, and it'll make you question everything. But let me remind you, pressure doesn't define you, purpose does. See, pressure is loud. It knocks hard, it wants urgency, it wants panic, it wants you reacting instead of creating. Pressure says you better hurry or you'll miss it. Pressure says you're falling behind. Pressure screams about the clock, the calendar, the competition. But purpose is quiet, it's steady, it doesn't chase trends, it doesn't fold under noise. Purpose walks with you, and when the world is trying to rush you, rush your decisions, rush your growth. Purpose taps you on the chest and says, you know who you are, you know why you started. There were seasons in my life when I was doing everything for everybody, saying yes to things that didn't align with who I was, trying to fit into boxes I was never built to be in. That's pressure, living on somebody else's script. But the moment I started living from purpose, everything changed, because purpose don't just give you direction. It gives you peace. You don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to do everything. You just have to be you on assignment. Fully, pressure will try to convince you that being busy means you're being productive. But purpose reminds you that being intentional is what makes you effective. You weren't put on this earth to impress people. You weren't born to chase approval or rack up applause. You weren't created to shrink so other people can feel tall. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to be powerful, and that power doesn't come from outside. It comes from within, from calling, from conviction, from clarity. That's why you gotta wake up every morning and remind yourself, I'm not living for the pressure. I'm living for the purpose. When the pressure rises, when the noise gets loud, when people start doubting or demanding, you go back to your why. Because when you're rooted in your why, you don't get shaken by the when. You don't get overwhelmed by the how. Purpose gives you endurance. It gives you focus. It gives you courage when the easy way says quit. And don't think purpose always feels good. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's misunderstood. But you don't measure purpose by how it feels. You measure it by how it pulls you forward, even when you're tired, even when the path gets rough. That pull, that's your sign, that's your proof. That's the difference between waking up burdened and waking up driven. So when the pressure comes, and it will, you lean in with purpose. Let it guide you, let it ground you, let it remind you that you weren't made to just exist. You were made to impact. Every morning, before the world starts spinning, you're faced with a decision. It ain't flashy, it's quiet, subtle, but it's powerful. You either reach for greatness, or you reach for comfort. That's it. You either set the tone, or the tone gets set for you. See, you don't stumble into victory. You step into it on purpose, and that step, it starts the moment you open your eyes, the moment you sit on the edge of the bed and decide, this day will not be wasted. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to move. You need to commit. You need to stop waiting for perfect conditions and create your conditions. I've seen it time and time again. People living life like they're stuck in neutral. Just coasting, hoping something out there will shift their direction. But let me tell you something. If you don't shift into gear in the morning, your day is already driving without you. You gotta claim your time. You gotta own your mindset, because how you start matters. You start rushed, scattered, late. You carry that energy with you. It leaks into your decisions. It poisons your clarity. But if you start grounded, focused, intentional, you walk into the world already aligned, already winning. You gotta stop treating your morning like an afterthought. It's not a leftover. It's not a maybe. It's the main course. That's where your identity gets reaffirmed. That's where your standards get locked in. That's where your spirit gets dressed for battle. Before you ever put on your clothes, don't scroll, don't snooze, don't second. Guess, decide. Decide who you are. Decide how you move. Decide what kind of day you're about to build, not what kind of day you're gonna get handed. Some folks wait to see how the day treats them, but winners, they treat the day like a canvas. Like a stage, like a battlefield, like an opportunity to sharpen, to build, to stretch, to rise. It's not about checking off tasks, it's about becoming. Every morning is a vote for who you're choosing to be. You can vote for the version of you that's tired, defeated, and distracted. Or you can vote for the one that's focused, disciplined, lit up with purpose and fire. It doesn't take magic, it takes commitment. It takes belief. It takes that little voice in your chest saying, we show up, no matter what. So stop treating the morning like it doesn't matter. It matters more than anything. The way you start the day has the power to shape every moment after it. The energy, the choices, the confidence. It all begins the moment you decide to take control. So start strong, start loud, start like you mean it. Win that first moment, win that hour, win that breath. And watch how the rest of the day falls in line. Let me leave you with this. You don't need more time. You don't need more luck. You don't need a sign from the sky. What you need is already in you. Every single day you wake up, you're being given something priceless. A new morning, a new shot, a new chance to become who you say you are when nobody's looking. But here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits, and the morning, that's where those habits get built. That's where you decide if you're chasing comfort or chasing greatness. That's where you choose discipline over mood, purpose over pressure, truth over noise. This ain't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about showing up with fire in your gut and vision in your eyes. You want to change your life? Then stop waiting on the world to do it for you. Start with the morning, because if you can win the morning, you can win the day. And if you can win the day, you can win your life. Now go get it.